up this episode of Don't Panic, we've got technology news for 2016, including a preview of the Consumer Electronics Show happening right now in Las Vegas. We talk of one or two things that have happened. We talk about Facebook getting a little paranoid about its partner at Google. We also talk about who wants content, who want content. We've got some picks. We've got some fun times ahead. Join us. It starts right now. This is Don't Panic, episode number 115, recorded January 4th, 2016, on smaller Wi-Fi, Facebook's backup, and disco drones. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast that does technology. I'm Sean Jennings, joined as always by the autonomous self-driving car and intelligent home appliance of technology. They're being promoted this week.
Be the fridge.
You can be the fridge with the switch in it. You bet, Colby.
Can I be that useless washing machine we talked about later?
Oh, there's more useless stuff this year, Dan, for you to be. I saw the smart plant pot that has like 18 sensors that monitors your plant and waters it.
No, I find that much more compelling than the washing machine.
Actually, it's $100 though.
That's That's not in range for something.
There was a smart ceiling fan.
I saw that,
which is a good idea.
Yeah.
It's kind of inconvenient to use.
Right.
What else was there?
Actually, ceiling fans have like speeds and stuff. I was like, why did it need to be smart? Why can't you just have a switch?
No, but then when your door opens, you can turn the fan on automatically only during a certain times of year.
Sure, but I was thinking like ceiling fans are usually on a light switch, right?
Yeah.
So like
sometimes mine isn't, which is why
Oof.
Oh wow.
Someone tied a string from the pull chain back to the wall so that you can just yank on it like the horn of a train.
I remember that.
That's fantastic.
Hey, I could be just like Colby and take out my smartphone and press a button and wait a couple seconds for it to turn on instead.
It's not convenient. That's why what I want is the built into the wall like light switch replacements. Those are the best because one, they're all switch, but two, you can switch them off with your phone, and it's synchronized. Like anything else is not good enough. Like all of this stuff I have now is not good enough.
What do you mean synchronized?
Like it's a switch, so it's like a physical switch, and the status of the physical switch matches the status of like.
Oh, so mechanical.
Right. It is both mechanical and electronic.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't know if it's like necessarily mechanical in a traditional light switch mechanical fashion, but there's like a button on the wall that you can press.
Oh, okay.
So it's in like you take the switch out of your wall and you put in this.
Otherwise, you would always have to have the light switch on for these other things to work.
Right.
Science.
Yes. Yeah. So that's my dream someday.
Well, maybe it'll come true this at CES. As you guys know, and as our listeners know, I would say our biggest shows of the year are Apple events, our year-end show, and our CES show. And your this is not our CES show. That's actually next week because very little has happened so far. So all the big press conferences are Tuesday, tomorrow. So you're not going to get anything. NVIDIA is actually doing theirs right now, all about how they're going to put a supercomputer in every self-driving car, the size of a lunchbox.
Right.
And actually later tonight, Faraday Future, the super secret car company, is going to announce their like space age car to compete with Tesla. But we'll have coverage of that and all of tomorrow's announcements on next week's show. Sorry. Can't do much about that. But we do have things to talk about tonight. Before we get to them, gentlemen, is there anything, we've been off now 2 weeks, is there anything that happened or anything you'd like to talk about or any technology that excites you, or I'm just giving you the opportunity? The floor is open.
I watched Rick and Morty right before.
Yes, and I watched Mad Max. That's right. We have to talk about our crisp dollar bill challenge.
Yeah.
We
never exchanged the dollar bill. What was contingent upon the dollar bill again?
you bet me a dollar bill I'd like it.
Oh, okay.
So I guess that means you owe me a dollar bill. That's how it works.
You're jumping right to the gun.
I'm jumping right to the gun, but we'll get to that. First, I will recap. If you didn't listen to our last episode, we did our favorite things of the year pick, and Dan and I challenged each other to take the crisp dollar bill challenge, in which we bet each other a dollar we would like each other's things. I picked for him. I picked shows, but I made him only watch 2 of them because I figured that was much. And I think he only watched.
I actually only watched one of them,
which is fine, because it's a good one. Rick and Morty on Adult Swim. If you haven't seen it, that was one of my 3 big TV show picks for the year. And Dan, what did you challenge me to?
I challenge you to watch the cinematic movie Mad Max.
Oscar contender.
Oscar, yes. Some would even say Best Picture nominee, Mad Max.
And we bet each other a crisp dollar that we would like each other's respective things. Dan, would you like me to go first, or would you like to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
So I only watched 2 episodes, so I feel like for a TV show, it's not a very broad viewing of something. But Rick and Morty is a little bit like Futurama, which may be how this was brought up. I guess not. It was just something you liked. But I really like Futurama, and there's a lot of great Futurama, like science-y sort of stuff happening here, nice. And similar sorts of quick humor things happening. So overall, I enjoyed it. I will enter it into, and I'll watch the other 2 and see where they fall. But this is a great, I have 20 minutes to watch TV.
Yeah.
This thing, it is a little bit disgusting.
Yes.
Which is I don't know. It's
a little too sensitive for your delicate sensibilities, Dan.
It's hard to get over it sometimes. But overall, I liked it.
Good. Well, let me talk about Mad Max. I will say, because I've talked to both these guys about it when we weren't on the show, it has grown on me. But let me explain a little bit. I watched Mad Max. I got the Blu-ray, and it was good, not great. And I think I've upped that. That was my original, and I think I upgraded that to pretty good, not Oscar contender. So I've shifted up in the scale a little bit.
Okay, what caused your shift?
Because I think I went in with really high expectations, which I don't think was fair. And that I was really genuinely expecting this to be like an insane, like earth-shattering, mind-blowing, off-the-charts film. And when you go in with that expectation, any movie is not going to live up to that, really. So that's what it was. I think it was just a little overhyped. And then when I kind of thought about it...
Except for Star Wars.
For Star Wars, which exceeded the enormous over-the-top, let's be honest. And so, Mad Max, I would say it's a pretty good film. I would recommend people see it. I would not tell you not to see it. I would not say I don't think it should win Best Picture. I don't think...
Should it be nominated for Best Picture?
Well, they nominated up to 10. I mean, Avatar got an Oscar nomination. District 9 got an Oscar nomination. I mean, a lot of, it would not surprise me at all. But I don't think it should really win. Maybe for Best Actor. And I think there were some things I would have done differently if I were making the movie. But overall, it was an enjoyable way to spend 2 hours of my life. And I think people, if you haven't seen it, it's at least worth watching.
What would you do differently?
It just felt there were they spent the whole movie focusing on the visual and not enough focusing on the dialogue. And that is really what it comes down to, because it was beautiful to look at. But I just wanted more of the characters, and I wanted more dialogue. And I realize that's not what he's going for, and that's not the point. But that's just what I prefer. I would like to have seen more development, more backstory, more exposition between the characters.
Okay.
But that's just, like I said, you get through almost the first half of the movie, and there's almost no dialogue. And that really surprised me, because I wasn't expecting that.
You got Morton Joe screaming, and I think Furiosa says a couple words, and
she barely talks through the whole first part of the movie.
Yeah.
And that kind of bummed me out a little bit, because I really liked the character, but I wanted more. So maybe what I want is a sequel. I don't know.
I think you're gonna get one, right? I think I read that.
It made a ton So knowing Hollywood, yes, it wouldn't surprise me. I just don't know if
Yeah.
are they going to bring back the same characters or what they'll do.
Oh, I haven't watched the older ones, but I think the tradition is don't bring back. Mad Max is the only character,
Hmm.
and he's just sort of a something that things happen to him, and he just goes around the world.
Yeah, true, but I wonder. I mean, was Mad Max really the star of Mad Max?
In this one?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think he was in this one. I
No.
think this
So
one
then
especially was more. He was just a passive, not observer, but a passive participant in. Someone you could pretend that you were and not suddenly have this dissonance like, oh, I couldn't do those. I mean, there are some things you could.
well, and he's also the guy who tied it back to the other movies, right? And kept it with the franchise name.
Mm-hmm.
Which honestly, I it's kind of weird that they did that now in retrospect because the movie, it could have been called anything, and I don't think it needed to be Mad Max. I mean, maybe that was what it took to get the studio to give the money or what it took to get distribution, I don't know. But it is kind of weird when you think about it that I would bet 80% of the people who saw this movie had never seen the previous ones.
Well, I think probably, but they held a lot of weight. And the director for Mad Max is also known for Happy Feet and Babe.
I
So
didn't know that. That's
yeah,
fantastic.
Awesome.
yep, he did all the Mad Max movies, Babe, Happy Feet, and then Mad Max again, pretty much.
Awesome.
Yeah. I feel like Max was kind of a useful plot device to like insert you like randomly into this world.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Where you don't really know anything about it.
It was one of my favorite parts, and I think I mentioned this, but that they don't hold your hand like the new Star Wars movie. They don't try to explain what's going on. You're left to your imagination to explain things for yourself about why things are happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was that it bothered me while watching the movie, and then they made it better by the end. The ending was what saved it. I don't know. I felt the first half was really slow. I was tempted to turn it off, and I really had to. I know I really had to hang in there.
The first half was really slow. I can't imagine anyone ever saying that about Mad Max. My God.
I'm a weird guy. What can I say? I've got terrible taste. I'm not the guy to ask.
Okay.
But you don't owe me a Dan, so you keep your.
Okay. I thought I did last week. I thought I did for sure.
No, I got $1 worth of entertainment out of it, so you can keep your $1. It was worth it. If it were like $50 challenge, I would say, oh hey, how about that? But
all right,
cool. We'll have to come up with another dollar challenge for next year.
Yes.
Something like
Colby in on this one, so he has to watch something. That really means though we need a fourth person to participate in it.
Mm. Or like we need like a three-way going, like a three-way crisp dollar bill challenge. We'll be exchanging dollar bills during our three-way. It'll be great.
How weird.
Weird. Of course it did. It wouldn't be us if it didn't get weird. Fantastic. Well, enough chit chatter. Why don't we do tech news? It's apparently what we're known for. We've done 114 of these, so why change now? Where would you guys like to start? We don't have a ton of news because it's post-holidays, pre-CS, so we're kind of in between. Is there anything in here?
Yeah, the new Wi-Fi stuff. I haven't read about it at all, and it sounds suspicious.
It sounds suspicious. Well, Dan, I will tell you about it. There's no need to be suspicious, Dan. Remember, Wi-Fi is your friend.
Right.
A friend that is going to make your smart devices even better. So, Dan, you have an Apple Watch.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any other smart device? Colby's got smart light bulbs.
Yeah, I've got my smoke detector.
Your smart smoke detector. Now, how do most of these things communicate with your device?
My smart scale over Wi-Fi, and it works.
Exactly. However, how great a battery life do some of those devices have?
My scale's battery finally died last month, and I had it for 2 years or so.
My
The other
Scales
one's
battery, my Scales battery dies because sometimes I like drop a shirt on it or something, so it'll
Weighs
like
it.
continuously be freaking out and like trying to synchronize, and then it just dies after a day or two. But it's human error, I
I
guess.
would love to see Colby live in a 100% smart home. I feel like that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, just drop him in like Bill Gates' house where there's a trampoline room and all this crazy stuff.
Just to see what, he walks into the room, start talking to him, and
Colby reviews smart devices.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do it.
Talks about how much he wants them and then complains about how much they suck.
Once
Well,
again, I was disappointed.
There's like a
Passionate.
dream that I want and the reality, which is different.
Well, hopefully this new Wi-Fi will make it better. So traditionally, as Dan said, you're connecting over Wi-Fi. The problem is it uses a lot of battery, and it doesn't go particularly far. Or you're connecting via Bluetooth, which if you're using a Bluetooth device, you get better battery life, but connecting is kind of a pain, and Bluetooth doesn't work that great. So a new Wi-Fi standard, it's being called Halo, spelled capital H, lowercase a, capital L, lowercase o, lowercase w. Halo. I didn't name it. And it's an extension of the upcoming 802.11ah standard developed by the Wi-Fi Alliance. Basically, the short version is it uses the 900 megahertz spectrum to deliver Wi-Fi with a longer range. It will be able to connect using normal Wi-Fi standards, so to your existing router in your home, and it will use less battery life, they say. It's really designed to be used in smart devices, especially because it is not good for high data transfer. This is for something that kind of spurts out little bits of data over time, something you ping, not something you're transferring gigabytes of files over. That's the downside. It's not going to be fast. But again, it's designed for those smart watches and the thermostats and the smoke detectors and your fridges, all those sorts of things in your home.
So it's basically Bluetooth.
It's Bluetooth, but they say it will work better. It will go further, and it will, yes, it will mostly go farther
So
and be more reliable and
something
be interchangeable.
between Bluetooth and like XB or something like that is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I mean it'll, yeah.
Whereas XB is like, I mean, it's like Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, but it's super low bandwidth. Probably, I would imagine it has better range than this too, but also very low power as well. And that's what a lot of current smart things use.
Well, and that's kind of part of the problem, right? Is that there's so many competing standards now with a lot of these things. Now, of course, this is from the Wi-Fi Alliance, who standardizes all those 802.11a, was it A, B, G, N, AC, soon AH. They certify these standards, so it is coming from a very well-known, reputable body. But it is going to require new hardware and devices for this to work. So, and they say it's some crazy amount of time off the future, like 5 years.
I think, right? Oh.
No, I don't know. I read so many stories, I got them mixed up. Yeah, they expect to begin certifying products in 2018. So you're right, a couple years, 3 years. And the beauty of
16 now, so
that's right, 2 years. And the beauty of this too is that these devices will work with existing Wi-Fi. So you don't have to get a new router for your home at least. So when you get your new device, it will work with the older standards. It'll just be more efficient over the new ones.
Right. Cool
All right,
stuff.
that doesn't sound so bad, but it's also 5 years out, so.
Well, yeah, and
We'll
listen,
see then.
I hate Bluetooth. I hate it. It never works for me.
Yeah.
It's an enormous, and pairing and all of this, the range and juggling multiple devices. I literally have, it's got to be something like 10 different Bluetooth things connected to my phone. And it never works. So, and I don't know if that's iOS or if it's what it is, but.
Yeah, the only thing that really works is the Apple Watch.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, right?
Yeah. Yep, I was just having this problem today where my my Bluetooth mouse at work just kept disconnecting. It disconnects about 2 or 3 times a day.
So I had problems with Bluetooth stuff when I was at Facebook. No, it might have been HubSpot. I can't remember, but in any case, I was using it and I was having the same problem, and I chalked it up to interference and got a wired keyboard.
Yeah, my keyboard's wired.
Yeah.
My mouse isn't, though. Maybe I should just buck up and get a wired mouse.
Well, and that's why I had a Bluetooth mouse, but it's amazing to me that even if you get like I've got a Logitech wireless mouse here, they don't even use Bluetooth if you get the dongle. It's all
Radio.
It's all radio waves. So
that's part of the problem
pocket.
with all of these things is that because they're in unlicensed spectrum, there's no there's no guarantee to who's using it, and can use it for anything. Your Xbox controllers and your Wi-Fi and your mice and your keyboards and your fridges and washing machines and phones and headphones, they're all like muddled up in the same thing, and like the more crowded a space you're in, the more things are in that in that chunk of spectrum.
Isn't the real problem that it would be fine if it was just one wireless network, but when you have multiple Wi-Fi networks in the same physical location, especially, and then there's that channels thing where if you're on a different channel, you won't step on each other, but there's only like a dozen channels you can use, and I can see about 50 different Wi-Fi networks where I am right now.
And this is chalk this up to CES, but a Kickstarter was announced at CES, which I didn't even know you could do. But someone went there to announce their Kickstarter, which is and I forget the name of the company. I wish I remembered it, but a router that intelligently scans for what bandwidths, which in the spectrum are the busiest, and it avoids sending your data over there. Over those.
If I recall that correctly, it also said it has more channels than a normal router has.
Yeah, it's like 8 versus 2 or something like that. Yeah. Specifically designed to speed things up that way.
Right. Very cool.
Very cool. Very cool. So look for that in 2018.
Never.
Yeah. Well, like a lot of things, yes, it may never come out. So we'll see. Gentlemen, what else is in here? We can talk about drones, Major League Gaming, washing machines, Facebook.
I mean, we should talk about the washer thing, but then we should talk about Major League Gaming.
All right, and I do want to get to this book story as well.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
That's a fascinating story, but we'll start with the simple one, which is the washing machine. Can't go through CES without a wacky washing machine. Dan, as you brought up, you may remember last year's washing machine in your washing machine, which had the drawer with the smaller washing machine. No, what one are you talking about?
Oh, I was talking about the one where you could tell when your clothes were done on your phone.
Oh, yeah. Which
was
had that for years.
Useless. No, you remember my argument about why it's useless, right?
I don't remember. No.
There's absolutely no action you can take based on that
if you're not
information
home.
If you're not home.
Right.
And that doesn't involve you going down and physically operating the thing to get the clothes out of it.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
The buzz works really well.
Well, good news, Dan. Your washer can now do more things you may not have needed it to do. Whirlpool announced their washer and dryer are intelligent, but not regular intelligent. No, they're super intelligent because they are integrated with the Amazon Dash service. You may remember those little buttons you can buy that you push and buy you things through Amazon. Well, now your Whirlpool smart appliances will integrate using their app. They describe it really well in here, so I'd rather read what they say. Both devices, your washer dryer and the dishwasher, are capable of working out how many wash cycles you've done since your last order of detergent, and will prompt you via the app to buy more when you might be running low.
Okay.
It can also do a bunch of other things, like you can tell it to activate modes, like automatically turn on quiet mode and when night comes around, or what they call wrinkle shield for when you're away from home but don't want your clothes crumpling in the dryer. I don't know what that is, but it's Nest compatible. It's all these other things. It integrates with their Smart Kitchen Suite software, and it'll be available later this year for $1,400 a piece.
So I admittedly did not read this whole article. I saw the title and assumed that the washer would like automatically order detergent for you or something when you were close to low. I'm pretty disappointed to learn that all it does.
No, it's a notification, yeah. But it's probably, I'm assuming it's one click in the app to just rebuy.
Yeah, I guess that's fine. What it really is like a scale that you put detergent on, and then when it gets low, it knows, and it like knows your rate of usage over time.
Well,
so it can just boom, order it for
that's what they say. I mean, most high-end washers these days, they have stuff you pour it in that measures it, so it knows how you're using per cycle, hypothetically.
Right, but it needs to know how much you have left too, and then it needs to do it for you, because that's the future.
Colby's not wrong.
That's what I was saying, Colby. You live in an apartment building with a shared machine, so...
Yes, I do. I wish I didn't. I would love to have my own washer. But
no, this would be cool. But at the same time, these are really expensive. Like $1,400 each. So for $2,800 to throw in the dishwasher but hey, it'll order detergent for you. So anyway, and we're gonna have. We didn't put it in today's rundown because I wanted the official details. They haven't announced it yet, but Samsung has a fridge with a giant screen in it that has a camera inside that looks at your food and tells you when it's going bad, or at least that's what is rumored.
Okay. I'm on board now.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I want to know how that works.
I might have to buy a house just to buy that.
It would be sweet.
Colby,
So
we should yeah. This would be your dream. You could just get paid to live in a house where people install smart home stuff.
a test house.
Yeah, the test.
Colby Radu's House of the Future.
Yeah.
I like it.
What would be the one if you could make anything happen? What would be the one thing that doesn't exist today that you would want in your smart home?
Anything at all? Like
anything at all. This one idea you've had, or it's like, well, it's not really possible. It's not really
something
feasible.
that cleans up the kitchen. I feel like besides commuting, that's what I spend the most time doing. That is not like, I don't mind it. It doesn't take that long. It's like, I spend 20 minutes a day like cleaning the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
But it is like a non-zero amount of time.
Right.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I do like it though. It is kind of
maybe like a washing machine.
Well, I have a dishwasher.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
What they should do is you should just put all your dishes in the sink, and then like a lid comes over, and then they just wash it in the sink.
Does it? Yeah.
And but then it's got to put itself away.
Have you all ever worked in an actual professional kitchen?
No, God no.
Okay. They have these things called Hobart machines.
Are those the ones you slide the tray into and then?
Yep, and you close it, and you wait about 30 seconds, and you lift it back up, and you slide it out the other end.
Well, I know I saw a design mock-up. I don't know if they ever built it, of like your upper cabinets in your kitchen being where the dishwasher is, and then you just leave the dishes in there after they've been washed. So you put them away dirty, and you run it, and then that's just your shelf.
That sounds good too. I would accept that.
That sounds elaborate.
Yeah, definitely.
But someday. You wait, CES 2018.
Colby, for only $9,945, you could get a fully conveyor belterized Hobart machine.
You could
like
eat.
a deal.
You could eat with your.
I'm sure
plate
it only
right on the
takes
conveyor
up
belt.
like 75% of the space in my apartment too.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm trying to get the exact dimensions. Not telling me. It looks pretty intense.
Just turn your whole counter into the conveyor belt, and you could just eat right on there. And when you're done eating, it just takes the dish away, and it pops out clean.
Can we talk real quick about, when you right-click on something in Google, in Google Chrome rather, and you can look up a word, or you can search Google word. I always click look up. I guess there's an OS X problem, and that's never what I want. I don't want to know the definition of the word. I want to Google for that thing.
I've never done that.
Okay, here we go. It's 70 inches by 87 inches by 30 inches.
They're not that big.
Please think of how you can
That would fit
redesign
on
this
my
kitchen.
island, just right in the middle. The centerpiece of the house.
Worth
Cool.
it. Pitch that to Jill and see what she thinks, and then
Yeah. I think she'll be fine with it.
Okay.
So then we just have to get it up to the apartment.
Right. And I'm trying to see here. It might require a gas line. Yeah.
I think it'd be easy to get one of those.
It
That
does.
I have. That's a bummer.
Oh well, manual. I guess you'll just have to use your regular roaring dishwasher for now.
I guess so. Living in the past.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well,
Now,
yes.
a dishwasher that I could start from my phone, that I would actually use for something that could be scheduled, because oftentimes you're putting dishes in the dishwasher throughout the day, but you don't want to run it immediately because you can always put more dishes in. So then you go up to bed, you initiate the house shutdown thing, and it just starts the dishwasher.
Yeah, I totally buy that, because that's actually what I end up doing anyways. The problem there, though, is loading the soap. Like, you need a dishwasher that has, like, a soap reservoir.
Why don't they? Actually.
Because now they all have like the pre-done packs. Couldn't you just like load them like a clip?
I feel like
the
pre yeah,
like
well,
a Tommy gun drum.
Exactly like that. They just sell them like you don't even have to unpack it. You just like
the whole
plug
thing
that shit into your dishwasher.
like paintball. This is great. This is a good idea.
Oh my god, you guys!
Guys, actually, this is
What
a
are we
patentable
doing?
idea. The self-feeding dishwasher.
Right, like the cat bowls that feed themselves just by gravity.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a good idea. Someone get Shark Tank on the phone. Gonna be rich. Fantastic. All right. Let's continue. Dan, you want to talk about Major League Gaming?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I heard this a couple days ago. I saw the rumors that Activision / Blizzard are they really? I guess you wouldn't know. Are they actually the same company now?
I do know. And yes, they acquired them years ago.
Yeah, but wouldn't normally under those circumstances wouldn't you just call yourselves Activision, not Activision Blizzard?
Well, the actual name of the company is Activision Blizzard. That's
right.
like the full name. In terms of how an article would write it, I suppose they could just call them Activision.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes. So Activision Blizzard has previously they want to get into esports. They have a whole division that they made not long ago all about it, and they put their money where their mouth is. Picked up Major League Gaming, arguably the leader in esports. I hate the name esports. Arguably the leader in esports. No amount listed as for what they bought them for. Which is surprising because Activision Blizzard's a publicly traded company, so you would think they would have to announce that. But whatever. I'm not an expert. But with that comes all of the media properties and all the competitions that go along with it. Competitor EA also has a competitive gaming division that does not own Major League Gaming. It'll be interesting to see what happens there, as well as how the relationship evolves, because Major League Gaming uses games that some of which are Activision Blizzard, some of which are not. So we'll have to keep that going as well. But supposedly Activision Blizzard plans to pump some cash and use their whatever strategic advantage to make them better.
Well, such as our favorite game, Hearthstone, is an Activision Blizzard game.
That's true.
Yeah, I was excited about this, especially. Did I hear that they're building like an esports arena or something? I forget. Yeah, wait, I don't know. Anyways, World's Force, esports arena to open in Santa Ana.
So let me ask you guys, what? Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Dan.
Oh no,
So, what is it, in your opinion, what is it going to take for esports to finally break out into the mainstream? Because I'm not going to argue it is a success within its given demographic. But
I think time, like the people who watch TV.
Is it just time?
Yes, I think they need to grow old and pass away and make way for a new generation.
All the tweens out there need to start watching more.
Well, I think they will. I mean, I
They
think
are.
perhaps people our age and maybe a little older than us, like those are people who watch esports, and like as we grow older, like all the people younger than us, esports will exist for them. My parents will never watch esports, so like it's just a social change thing. It's inevitable. I don't know if it'll be popular.
I mean, what is the? I'm curious what the Twitch viewer record is. As of February 2015, 500,000.
Well, I know that. What is
Right.
it? No,
Or more. Hang on a second.
I know for a long. As far as I know, the Super Bowl held the single time simultaneous viewing record at just about 1 million, but I think that got this recently. So I'm going to say between 1 million and 1.5 million simultaneous views is kind of the record for these kinds of things.
So another related thing, I was watching football with some friends this week on Sunday, and someone asked how long did we think the NFL would be around, and that's not something I had ever considered. Like the NFL has existed for my entire adult life, or literally my entire life. The NFL has existed. I never stopped to consider the fact that it could stop existing. I don't know.
It is an interesting thought. It is, especially because you think of all the major sports leagues, and none of them are new. I mean, they've all been around for a long time, really. Maybe soccer not so much, but certainly the big guys. What? Dan, can you hear us?
Sounds like technical problem.
Dan, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Good. We were worried there for a second. Thought we lost you. No. What? The reason I brought that up is because Activision's e-gaming group is led by former ESPN CEO Steve Borstein. Knows more about getting sports on television than any man on the planet. I've read about through the history of ESPN. The man was a legend there for a long time. So the reason I bring that up is because I just don't know what's holding it back. And maybe you're right, Colby. Maybe it is just time. What's interesting to me about this acquisition is I think it gives them what they need the most. They can't solve the time problem, but what they can do to help it is cash. They need cash. And what they have to do is spend a ton of that cash to get organized and to get a system in place so people know when competitions are, where they are, where you can watch them, have a dedicated service for it, get that service on all the platforms. It should be as easy to watch a Major League Gaming event as it is to watch an NBA game.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, like, I feel like competitive video gaming is, well, yeah, in a sense it's easier. There's no like, I don't know, like physical,
blackout rules or any of that crap.
Right, or any of the concussion stuff with the NFL and all, like none of that really exists. I guess like maybe carpal tunnel or something could be a problem.
What a scandal!
But like literally anything can happen in a video game, and it's really no less contrived than any other sports game is. So.
Have either of you ever watched any esports stuff on Twitch or anything?
Briefly.
Not really, no. Yeah.
I had a roommate once who was big into it, and it was always on. StarCraft, I think, was the big one he watched, and I watched some of it, and you know the reason I don't watch more is because they don't really play games I know anything about. That's the problem. Because I'm not a player, you know, like football, you get the ball to the other end and you score some points. You don't really have to be but I, you know, like what is it? What's the game? The big popular game. You know what I'm talking about?
Dota.
I'm back.
Dota, one of those. I watch them play it and I have no idea what's going on, even with commentary. Like it's so confusing to me because I'm a player.
That's true. Well, Also, imagine you didn't grow up like watching football with your parents or something. Like,
Oh yeah, I'll tell
if
you
you,
guys, I
Yeah,
have
Dan.
no idea what the hell is going on in football.
Okay,
Like,
good.
yeah,
you can't pass it back. You pass it some way. You pass it. Uh,
That's good.
yeah. It's so I went to a baseball game this summer with a friend of ours who was never really exposed to baseball at any other point in his life. He had so many questions about like what was going on and stuff. It is just like, yeah, that's the way it is because that's the way it is.
But I think that's good in a way, and I think that's why Major League Gaming is going to need cash, is to expand what games they do and what games they play. Because if they were holding Madden tournaments, that's something I might watch because that's something I understand. Or
Mhm.
a Hearthstone just because I play it. But they're going to have to branch out from these sort of games they're used to doing, and turn it into more of a holistic service. But I think they'll get there. I think it's just interesting that, and it makes sense if Activision. This tells me they're serious. I don't know how much they put out, but they bought the biggest guys in the space, so
yeah.
that's a lot of support.
I find that there are some games, and I think that I found Dota to be one of those games. I went to a live tournament. I guess you're still doing the show at this point.
Mhm.
And I had never played or watched any Dota before I went. And I didn't really understand all the nuance, but like when someone dies, it's bad for that team. You can tell when you have like a bit of inside knowledge because you can see the whole map. So you're like, they're setting up for this thing, which is easy to tell because they're about to surround this one guy and pick him off. So I got a sense of what progress meant, and I knew when something good could happen, or when they're like, right. So you have this tension, this excitement,
Mhm.
and for me, this is what is completely missing in baseball. I have no idea at any point if something good. It's completely random. Basically, I don't know if something good or bad's about to happen. But I can tell what the strategy is. They might hit the ball well, but they might not. It has no bearing on what anyone else is doing.
Yeah, I feel like football is more like that. Like you like it's much like happenance and more like you can get a sense as the play is happening if something good is about to happen or if something bad is about to happen.
Right, and you feel smart because you can see you have a view that no one has.
Do they, I'm sorry. Do they have teams in Major League Gaming?
Yeah.
Like you can root for a team? That's what I like about
Yeah.
sports. You can root for a team.
Right, so most of these games, not all as far as I know, and I don't know that much, but all these esports teams or games have teams. Even a game like Hearthstone, which I've started to watch a little bit, you're on a team, but you're not competing as a team. You're just signed by this team, and you wear their shirt or whatever. But for like Counter-Strike and Dota and all of these things, yeah, it's a team of people, and they have team dynamics and a coach and personalities. So one of the big things with esports is like getting the people in front of the audiences so that you can meet these people and realize who they are.
Yeah, I think it is very American to be. I think we are a nation of team sports and not of individual sports. Now, that's not to say there aren't golf is a good example of an individual sport, but I just think we're a nation where we root for teams, not individuals. So that's just why I was wondering if that's a thing, which I guess it is.
Oh yeah, and then there's the different regions. So you have your European region and Korea and China and Taiwan, Australia, and so oftentimes at the big tournaments, you might have a favorite team from each region, but then you might have your favorite region. So like, all right, well, no matter who emerges from the North American finals, I'm going to root for them at the World Championships, which is cool. You don't really get that off. You don't get that at all in any other sport. Because maybe you go to the Olympics where the teams are completely different, but it's not like you can follow one team from when they first qualify all the way to being world champions, and it's the same team.
I think I'm going to have to do a deep dive into esports at some point and check it out.
I wonder how you would start. I don't know.
Maybe, again, that's probably part of their problem, right?
Right.
I could just turn on the TV and football just happens to be on, and then I can start watching and get interested in it, but I wouldn't even...
Well, like, going back to what I said about this being something that, like, football or baseball or whatever our sport of choice is, it being something that we were exposed to as kids probably by our parents or by our family.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
very true.
Once the people who are into esports right now have children, I bet their kids will be into esports because they grew up watching it with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe that won't happen at all. Another interesting thing I think is that, like, I feel like the games, the esports games are always changing. Like, games go away. There's not, like, decades of consistency or, like, relative consistency like there is
and even beyond that, games, even while they're around, change because the developers are patching it and they discover new crazy things. Still, one of my... I picked this show, the Super Smash Brothers was released and never updated, but the game has changed so much throughout the years as people develop new strategies and stuff.
Well, that's true of football or most other major league sports as well. Like, the rules change sometimes drastically year to year.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
we're such nerds. Oh my god, the slight on all of us. Oh.
We're awesome, Sean.
No, I know we're awesome. We're just awesome nerds, and that's okay. We need to watch more esports, apparently. I want to make sure we have time, so I really do want to talk about this story from Facebook because I think it is very interesting. Here's the scoop. A report published today said that Facebook has worked on a number of contingency plans that will allow it to continue operating Android in the event that Google cuts it off from the Play Store, impacting key services like push notifications, app updates, and in-app payments. Let me get into the details here because it's kind of interesting. The companies, Google and Facebook, have gotten in spats before about some experiments Facebook have run, like automatically installing new Facebook-made apps for users, which prompted threats from Google's may cut them off. That's why supposedly doing this. Some alternative ways would be that if there was a new version of the app, Facebook could use a link to have them download it outside of the store directly in the browser. And they actually ran a test for a few weeks in a small country for about a week or so, they said, and people actually did it, apparently. Another alternative would be to work with phone manufacturers to have Facebook's app pre-installed.
Now, you said that people in that country actually did, but if I remember, the wording in that article is a little less charitable. I believe they used the words, "It wasn't a disaster."
Right, it wasn't disastrous. People did it, it wasn't disastrous. That's the exact quote from the piece. So you're right, Dan. I should read the whole thing. So anyway, the question is Facebook being paranoid, or is this just good business?
I think they're perhaps correct to be concerned. I mean, Google does have a pretty enormous amount of power, in much the same way as Apple has an enormous amount of power on iOS. But, like, Google historically has been more open than Apple. Like, Apple was very closed off, like super closed off, in that there were no apps at all, and then they got progressively more open. Where Google is probably the opposite, but there's really nothing stopping them from totally changing their mind or, like totally screwing someone over at some point or another. And this is that's the closed app ecosystem trade-off. Like, this is what we lose when we stop using the web.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not that Facebook is innocent in the loss of the web.
No, of course.
Right.
They embraced it, certainly. But I mean, and also obviously, like, Facebook pushes pushes the envelope sometimes.
To me, it's interesting that this isn't. I would bet there are a lot of companies like Facebook who have a contingency plan on paper. It fascinates me that Facebook has not only written out a plan, they've tested it, and have done it in real years. That is very interesting. There's another story that came out as well, separate from this, that Facebook had apparently was curious to see if people would use the mobiles, what would happen if something were to happen to the Facebook app if it were to go away. And they purposefully made a buggy version of the app, put it out there, it crashed for long periods of time, and they did it on purpose to see what users would do if the app stopped working, to see if they would be pushed to the mobile web, which they claim most people did. That seems like a little too far. You guys work in this industry, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't imagine it is a standard practice to test something this aggressive with a not insignificant amount of members of an unsuspecting public.
Well, I mean, the Facebook is in a unique position in that they can do like statistically relevant tests and actually learn like real things.
That's true.
Most companies, like, not to say that Facebook's like number usage doesn't make the money, it does, but it's a more indirect relationship. Whereas like if HubSpot, for example, is broken, people just aren't going to pay for it. But if Facebook is broken, for a day or something, they have more sticking power.
That's true.
So I'm not necessarily surprised. It is. I mean, I think we could discuss the ethics of that, perhaps, but I can imagine being in their position and wanting to know. Like, that's kind of a reassuring thing to know, that people will use Facebook, regardless of how inconvenient it is for them to use it.
You know what I love most about this show? When you change my mind on something. Because honestly, no, because I came into this with the story being like, that's creepy, and Facebook is like sketchy.
Oh, I don't mean to say not creepy or questionable.
Right.
It is questionable.
But
I see, like, I can rationalize an argument for why you might do it.
But
I don't necessarily.
And I think you're right when you talk about the population size. Facebook is unique that they can test these things where other companies can't. I don't want to say get away with it, but they can't really do it. And if that's what it takes, a smaller company might just put out a survey to their users. If our mobile app stopped working tomorrow, what would you do? But it's nothing like testing it with real users. So when you put it that way, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know. Dan, do you have any thoughts on this particular story?
I think that a lot of companies are looking at this. They're asking themselves the question, especially people in my line of work. What is the easiest thing that could happen to us that causes us to lose a lot of money?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very easy thing to have happen. It's even possible.
Mm-hmm.
So now the question is, well, how much would it cost for us to fix it? And if they deem that the cost of fixing it is weighs out against the risk of it happening, they're going to fix it now. But people do this all the time. It's just usually not for something so understandable to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone understands, like, oh, they're going to make their own app store and download it. Everyone understands what that means. But not a lot of other people understand what is, like, Amazon. Amazon's probably, like, who knows, they're looking at like geopolitical problems. And Google also, we know Google's looking at that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the worst thing that could happen that's possible that would cause them to lose a lot of money. So, who knows what sort of, they could have their own counterintelligence departments for all we know.
And I would bet they do.
Right.
I know the counterintelligence guy at my own company, so they do it. It is a real thing. And, you got to remember too, it's roughly 80% of Facebook's ad revenue comes from mobile. So, if that were to be cut off, and I'm sure their number one operating system is Android. So, you can only imagine the financial impact it would have on them.
It's just amazing that it's funny that they care more about this than the Apple problem, which I guess is harder to solve.
Well, yeah, they have less control over it, I suppose.
Yeah.
And again, I'm making wild inferences here, but I'm sure they see the growth markets as the sort of third world emerging markets. Their primary operating system there is Android. And if they lose some chunk of iOS, they probably think they can make it back. Android's probably a bigger chunk of their future business.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess. It's a wild guess, but I just think it's interesting, and I think this is part of being a tech company you don't really hear about in the news. I can't remember last time hearing a story like this where, a company is coming up with these alternate systems and backups, and people who work in it get it, but I think your average person doesn't really hear these stories.
Sure. Right.
Well, I think something like that too. There aren't many companies who could overcome a problem like that. Like, if Google decided to shut Facebook out of the App Store, Facebook could probably keep going. One, because people want to use Facebook, but two, because they're in a position to make deals with carriers and stuff to just get pre-installed on phones or set up their own App Store. If something like I don't know, I'm trying to think of an insignificant app I use, but if a small indie app or even a medium-sized company app or a domain-specific app, something some sort of B2B software product, if Google decided to shut them out of the App Store, they'd be totally screwed. It's okay, we just can't be on Android. There's nothing else to do, really. I guess you can go on the Amazon Android store, or if when Apple locks your app out, well, sorry. So it's an interesting path we've chosen.
It is, and that's what allows, I think, Facebook to push the envelope as much as them, because they really have, and they've done it on other app platforms too. That's just part of being the business, and I think we'll keep seeing this back and forth. And Facebook is certainly a very unique company who does unique things. Cool. Well, that's it for tech news. We are out of stories. We're going to move on to our picks. We do our picks every week. We each pick something that we want to share with the world. Increasingly less reliant on technology, but nonetheless cool. And we'll start with picks this week. We'll do it alphabetical. Why don't you go first for us?
Okay. My pick is the Cosmos, the TV series with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I've been watching that the last couple weeks. I started over vacation when I was at my parents' house in bored. It's pretty fantastic and mind-blowing and inspiring. It's very thoughtful, and I don't know. It's good. It's fun to watch if you like science, and you should like science because that's how life works. So.
Cool. Cosmos available now on Netflix and for purchase on Amazon and Google Play. Dan, how about you? What do you got this week?
Oh yeah, I have a new podcast. So we've all been talking about Star Wars an awful lot, and a couple weeks ago I Googled Star Wars podcast just to see what was out there, and the one that kept being brought up was this Rebel Force Radio podcast. So I loaded it up and I listened to an episode, and I decided what would be fun, because it had, right after the movie came out, listen to their first episode after the movie came out, because I figured that would be a great showcase. And oh my gosh, it is so professionally done. I know we do a good job here, but man, and just the voices, they're like NPR personalities. They're so good at talking, and it turns out it's because they are NPR personalities. I googled this. One of the two hosts does work for the NPR branch in Chicago. So they talk, and they go so in depth. They brought on multiple people who had been on the set for the movie, who had played one-off characters, who had been voice actors, sound engineer, and you get to talk to these people and hear all these stories. It was really, really great. And then today I was listening to, they did a special episode where they dissected the soundtrack, and they had this composer on who had his MIDI keyboard hooked up to Skype, and he could play the different parts and tell you what they meant, and he was tracking the themes through all the different scenes. And here's the map theme. You only hear it a couple times, but you hear it when the map is shown right in the beginning, and then right at the end. It's so cool. It's one of my new favorite podcasts. Check it out, rebelforceradio.com.
I'm excited to listen to it.
Yeah.
You told me about that this weekend, and I forgot about it, but now I remembered, and I subscribed to it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
Tomorrow.
We're always good for a new podcast or two, that's for sure.
Yeah, if you want to have a good time, go back. It's only been a couple episodes. Actually, that's a lot, but it's actually been a couple episodes since we came out. Like 3 in 1 week.
Whoa.
Yeah. And man, these guys are nerds. It's great.
And I'll put out a general offer. I guarantee you can hit any of the three of us up on Twitter. If you need a new podcast to listen to, I would bet between the three of us we can give you one.
True.
So if we haven't already picked it on the show, I know we each listen to a lot. So we're always good for that.
Podcasts everywhere.
Podcasts everywhere. I don't know how you guys do it, but you do. So I will wrap up with pick. I've talked webcomics on the show before, and I've highlighted one or two I liked. Today I'm going to do the same. Poorly Drawn Lines. Yes, you should go there. They have a website, poorlydrawnlines.com, but I'm actually highlighting the book. The book they did. The guy who does the webcomic, Reza Farazmand, did the first print version. This is a comic I followed for a while. They're very short panels. They're usually 4 to 6 panels. They're very short. And I just think they're really funny because they're kind of odd and dark, and then usually the last panel kind of gets you a little bit. But you can get the book now, which is great. And it's a great coffee table book. I'm excited when I move into my new place to get a bookshelf to display all these books. But I flagged a couple. That's what the little Post-it stickies don't come with it. But flagged some comics to show you, so you'd have an idea of what you can get, because it's this beautiful full page print, and it says right here, there's a guy and he's talking with a robot, and he says, if this is like children's book time, robot, why won't it hang out with me? And I am uploading the data now. And then he's waiting, it says beep boop, and then the robot says, you're a dick. So there you go. That's just some of what you'll get in this book. So I recommend it. The link going to be on the website, Poorly Drawn Lines. At least go to the website, poorlydrawnlines.com. But the book is also great as well. So that is my pick this week. And that is it for the show, gentlemen, unless you've got anything else you want to share with folks at home.
No, sir.
No, sir. Well, I'm going to share that everyone should go over right now to GoldilocksShow.com and listen to these two guys, myself and Matt Mariani, play Dungeons & Dragons. We're having a lot of fun doing our adventures and getting into some trouble, getting into some fights, killing some people, and going through mysterious tunnels, and I almost die once again. It's fun, so check that out. GoldilocksShow.com. You can go there and get that. And, of course, this show, Don'tPanic.io, is our website. You should go there. It's nice. It's very white. It's very clean. And there you get links to everything we do, past episodes, our picks each week, where to subscribe. And I will tell you at Don't Show on Twitter. And if you do feed for us, we want it. You give it to us. Don'tPanicShow@gmail.com. We answer every email. You know, guys, fun fact, we've never got a listener email.
Wow.
Really?
Yes. So you can start Don'tPanicShow@gmail.com. Fantastic. We will be back next Monday. We do the show Monday nights, roughly 10 p.m. Eastern when things are working. If you follow us on Twitter, I tweet. We do stream the audio live. Come and join us. Listen, chat with us. You can tweet at us. We'll talk about you on the show. We've done it before. We'll do it again. So join us 10 p.m. roughly. But again, sometimes we're late. I tweet when we actually go live. So at Don't Panic Show. I think that's it. We'll be back next week with wall-to-wall CES coverage, all the gadgets, all the fun, all of the smart devices and the autonomous cars and the hoverboards and the rocket skates and whatever else they come up with. We'll talk about it next week. Thank you for joining us this week, and we'll see you next time for a brand new episode of Don't Panic.